So when you get up, in terms of recitation, that will be your first rakah. And when you do sajda, in terms of sitting down, that will be treated as the rakah which is offered after the number of rakahs you have offered behind the imam. With an example, you will easily understand this. Take for example, you're in Salatul Zuhr. You're offering your Salatul Zuhr behind the imam. Salatul Zuhr, you have offered 3 rakahs with the imam and you have missed the first rakah. The first rakah you missed and you join the salah in the second rakah. So how many rakahs have you offered behind the imam now? You have offered 3 rakahs behind the imam. Yes? The imam has said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Now you will get up. In terms of recitation, what number rakah is this? Always first. Is that clear? Do you all understand this? So whenever you get up to complete, to make up the rakahs, in terms of recitation, that will be treated as your first rakah. So how many rakahs have you offered behind the imam? 3. And now you got up, how many rakahs have you missed? 1. So you've offered 3 rakahs behind the imam. When you will get up, in terms of recitation, will this be your 4th? No, it will be your first. Why? Because in terms of recitation, it will always be your first. Yes? In the first rakah, what do you recite? Subhanakallah. So now you will begin with Subhanakallah and you will recite Surah Al-Fatiha. And in the first rakah, do you attach a surah or not? You attach a surah, so you will attach a surah. Now when you will go in sajda, in terms of sitting down, what number rakah is this? How many have you offered behind the imam? How many? 3. And this will be your 4th rakah in terms of sitting down. In the 4th rakah, do you sit down or not? You sit and you recite At-Tahiyyatu, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Do you add Allahumma salli ala or not? You will. And then the dua. Then يوم يقوم الحساب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Is that clear? That's for the 4 rakahs when you have missed how many? 1. Now 4 rakahs of Zuhr or Isha, you have missed 2 rakahs. You join the prayer in the 3rd rakah. Before the imam was in the ruku, the imam was in ruku before the qawmah, before the imam said Sami Allahu liman hamida, you joined the salah. And how did you join the salah? You said Allahu Akbar, takbir tahrima, and you didn't go to ruku straight away. You did the second takbir, Allahu Akbar, the 2nd time, and then you join the imam in the ruku, then that means you have found the 3rd rakah. So you missed 2 rakahs. Now you offered 2 rakahs behind the imam. The imam has read يوم يقوم الحساب. After التحيات, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. You have stopped. The imam continued. He recited اللهم صل على. Then ربنا آتنا ورب اجعلني يوم يقوم الحساب. He said السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Then you get up. In terms of recitation, what number of rakah is this? Always first. Yes. In terms of recitation, this will be treated as the first rakah. So what will you begin with? Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika. Then you will recite Surah Al-Fatiha and then you will attach a surah. Now when you will go down in sajda, in terms of sitting down, what number of rakah is this? 3rd, because you have offered how many? 2 behind the imam. Now this is the 3rd rakah. In the 3rd rakah, do you sit down? You don't. So you will do the 2 sajdas and you will get up. Now when you will get up, in terms of recitation, what number of rakah is this? Everyone should say this. This is the 2nd. In the 2nd rakah, do you begin with Subhanakallah? What do you begin with? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and Surah Al-Fatiha. Yes? So you will recite Surah Al-Fatiha. In terms of recitation, this is the 2nd rakah. Now in the 2nd rakah, you don't attach a surah, do you? You don't, do you? You do attach a surah. It's necessary to attach a surah because that's your 2nd rakah. So you will attach a surah after Surah Al-Fatiha. Now when you will go in sajda, in terms of sitting down, what number of rakah is this? So you will offer your 4th rakah, you will recite At-Tahiyyatu, you will recite Allahumma salli ala, yawma yakum al-hisab, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Is that clear, all of you? That's if you have missed 2 rakahs. Say that you missed 3 rakahs behind the imam. How many rakahs? 3 rakahs. So, how many have you offered behind the imam? 1. Meaning, you join the imam in the last rakah. Yes? And you have missed how many? 3 rakahs. The imam has said, يوم يقوم الحساب, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Now, how many have you offered behind the imam? 1 rakah. When you will get up, in terms of recitation, what number of rakah is this? 1st rakah. So what will you begin with? Subhanakallah, and then Surah Al-Fatiha, and then you will attach another surah. Now when you will go to sajda, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. You've done 2 sajdas. In terms of sitting down, what number rakah is this? Everyone. Will you sit down? Yes. Do you sit in the second rakah? Yes. So 1 rakah was with the imam. You sat down because the imam sat down in the first rakah. Yes? You see? You followed the imam in the first rakah. Now you got up. It's your first rakah in terms of recitation. And in terms of sitting down, it's your second rakah. Therefore, you will sit in this rakah and you will recite what? At-tahiyyatu lillahi to ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Now when you will get up, in terms of recitation, what number rakah is this? Everyone. Second. So will you recite Surah Al-Fatiha? Yes, you will recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Remember, before Surah Al-Fatiha, you will recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Many people don't recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So you will recite Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, then you will recite Surah Al-Fatiha. This, in terms of recitation, this is your second rakah. In the second rakah, do you attach a surah? You will attach a surah now. Yes? You will attach a surah. Now when you will go down in sajda, after sajda, in terms of sitting down, what number rakah is this? Everyone. This is your third rakah. So you will not say that since I read Surah Al-Fatiha and attached the surah, which I do in the second rakah, now I must sit down. No, why? Because in terms of sitting down, it is your third rakah. Yes? You offered 1 with the imam, 1 separately, and now this is your third rakah in terms of sitting down. You will not sit down. Yes? You will get up. When you will get up now, in terms of recitation, what number rakah is this? In terms of recitation, it is your third rakah. So in the third rakah, do you recite Surah Al-Fatiha? Yes. So you will say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in Surah Al-Fatiha. Do you attach a surah? Do you add a surah? You don't. Why? Because it's your third rakah. Now when you will go in sajda, after sajda, in terms of sitting down, what number rakah is this? What number? 4th. So you will recite At-Tahiyyatu. Allahumma salli ala yawma yakum al-hisab. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You see, this is the basic principle. If you memorize the general principle, every time you get up after the imam has read Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, that will be, in terms of recitation, that will be treated as the first rakah. You will begin with Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. When you will sit down after sajda, in terms of sitting down, that will be the rakah after the number of rakahs you have offered behind the imam. Is that clear? There's some example. There's one example in which you have to sit in all 3 rakahs. For instance, we have offered Maghrib, Salatul Maghrib. Say that you have missed, you offered 1 rakah behind the imam. So you came in, the imam had offered 2 rakahs, and you joined the imam in the 3rd rakah, in the last rakah. How many have you missed? 2 rakahs. So the imam was in the 3rd rakah, he was standing up in the 3rd rakah, you said Allahu Akbar, and you stood up behind the imam. Or if the imam was in ruku, you said the first takbir tahrim Allahu Akbar, and then you said the second takbir, and you went to ruku before the imam stands up for Sami Allahu liman hamida, before qawma, you joined the 3rd rakah. That is your first rakah. In At-Tahiyyatu, the imam will recite Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. You will stop there. He will continue with Allahumma salli ala yawma yakum al-hisab. He says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You will get up. How many rakahs have you offered behind the imam? 1. When you will get up, in terms of recitation, that will be your first rakah. So you will begin with what? Subhanakallah. Remember, you have offered 1 rakah behind the imam in which you sat down. Yes? The first rakah. Why did you sit down in the first rakah? Because the imam sat down, so you have to follow the imam. Yes? Now you stood up for the second rakah. In terms of recitation, that is your first rakah. But when you will go in ruku, then you will go in sajda. After sajda, in terms of sitting down, what number rakah is this? What number? Second. So do you sit down in the second rakah? You sit down in the second rakah. You will recite At-Tahiyyatu and Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Now when you will get up, in terms of recitation, what number rakah is this? Second. So will you begin with Subhanakallah? Will you begin with Subhanakallah? No. What will you begin with? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and Alhamdulillah. But now, because remember, it's your last rakah, isn't it? So you won't attach a surah, will you? Huh? It's your second, so you will attach a surah. Well done, mashallah. Excellent. Why? Because in terms of recitation, it's your second rakah. Yes, so you will not consider sitting down, it's your third rakah. That's whilst considering sitting down. This, in terms of recitation, it is your second. So you will have to attach a surah. You will attach a surah, and then after the surah, when you will sit down, in terms of sitting down, that is your third. Did you notice that in all three rakahs, you have to sit down? You see that? In all three rakahs, you have to sit down. This is basic knowledge. We must study the ahkam for the masbook, for the one who comes late. And there's so much to cover in this. This is why I emphasize the importance of al-ilm.